And we're live. Welcome, welcome, welcome to another night with In the Chair with Montee and MiMi. But tonight, MiMi is not with us. MiMi is away with travel. So she has called Miss Jermaine, and Miss Jermaine is stepping in. Miss Gigi is here on behalf of MiMi tonight. What's up, Miss Gigi?
What's going on, Monty?
How are you?
I am wonderful.
You
Wonderfully
wonderful.
tired. I
You
am always
wonderful.
wonderful. Yes,
What's
you know, I would say, what's going on? Tell me.
what's up? Listen. How was your day? I'm gonna ask you that first. How was your day?
My day has been exceptionally busy, but nonetheless, busy's good. Busy's
Busy is
good.
always good. When you got
No,
something to do, that means, but
there's a lot to do in here. We're going
there's a
through
lot to do in here.
some renovations right now. So,
You're doing renovations. Yeah,
yeah.
you got money.
No,
You got money.
I
That's
got
what that means.
family. Look, I
When,
got family and friends and
that's
dogs.
what that means. You got money. When
Yeah.
you renovating stuff, you got money. Yes, money, honey.
Still
Yeah.
waiting on that stimulus. Okay,
That's
no,
the stimulus.
no, it's the family stimulus stimulating this household.
Right.
Okay, yeah.
So listen, my day was pretty eventful, but it was a good day. I won't complain. It's just what's up, Africa? My sinuses are killing me right now. So listen, I couldn't be gray-eyed or honey-eyed today. I had to be the real-eyed today with these 4 eyes today. I had to put these glasses on today because I couldn't breathe. My eyes are killing me from this pollen. It is horrible.
It is.
However,
It
we
is.
are here. We are here tonight. So I want to say thank
Yeah.
you. First of all, in the beginning, I want to say thank you, and I'm going to thank you at the end of the show. I want to tell you thank you, for being here and doing what you do. What's up, Chad? I want to say thank you for being who you are and being here with us on tonight. MiMi is away on travel, doing big things. MiMi is in Dallas, y'all. MiMi
Yeah.
is in Dallas, Texas. I'm gonna tell on her. I'm gonna tell y'all exactly where she is. MiMi is in Dallas, Texas, doing it up. What's up, MiMi? I know she's probably watching. She's gonna talk about us later on.
Hey, girl.
So listen, what's up, Joanne? So, are you tired?
Explain tired.
So, what I mean by tired, meaning with all the stuff that's going on in the world, are we tired yet as Black people? Are we really, 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 really tired of seeing our own gunned down and killed and restrained and mishandled, mistreated? Are we tired? I know we keep saying that, oh, I'm tired. I'm sick of this happening, or we're standing up for this, or we're trying to stand up for that. But things are they seem to be getting a little worse.
I am beyond tired. I'm disgusted.
Hmm.
I have reached a level, probably like many of us here, of just disdain and just
Linda.
mistrust. Just it is. We are in a sad state of affairs, with what's going on with our law enforcement in our community, in lots of communities. So
Mhm.
yeah, it is. I'm beyond tired.
But
I am just disappointed and disgusted.
so it's so funny that you mentioned in our communities and all over. This is just happening, and it's happening, and it keeps happening. And the thing about it is that we have these people that come out and say, "Oh, we're trying to make it better for you," or "We're doing this." You remember when Donald Trump was there? "Oh, well, I support the Black people. I'm trying to do this for you guys, and
That's
and
why
and, and you and you and you. We're trying to do this, and we're trying to do this." But in all actuality, they're not doing anything.
no,
We
they're
are
not.
fed up, Africa. Yes, we are. We are fed up. It has gotten out of control. It has been out of control. And the thing about it is, we as a community, we have to stand back up. We have to stand back up. I wasn't going to start off with this, but it was brought up today by Breonna Taylor's family, as well as George Floyd's family. They've been talking in the media, and they've been talking about the Black Lives Matter movement. They said that, whenever this all happened, we were standing up and we were fighting for Black rights, and we were doing what we needed to do. But here it is a year later. Where's the Black Lives Matter movement at now? Where are they? Where are we? Because I'm included in that. But where are we? Why are we not still speaking out? Why are we not fighting? And I'm not saying that we're not doing it, but why are we not fighting as hard as we were in the very beginning?
And here's the other thing, and I agree with that. We are not, the presence, you know how we do. We get in the community, we raise a lot of, muss and fuss right there when everything is going on. It's fresh on our minds, and then all of a sudden it is, it fizzles out. It's on to the next. But in fairness to the Black Lives Matter movement, there's just so much. It's just like every time you turn it on, they can't be everywhere at the same time. Even though the other thing is, the media pushes Black Lives Matter movement down. I mean, they're pushing it down and covering it up with rioting, you know, police attacking law enforcement officers. It's just like you take something and we're fighting for something because we're fed up. And exactly, we're fed up, and we have a very bad habit. You're absolutely right, Peter, of being reactive versus proactive. Now, yeah, we fought the power, we painted the streets, we called the mayor, they jumped in, we jumped out there. But we also have to take into the climate of what's going on. That's what I'm saying. Look at everything we're contending with. We're contending with a pandemic. We're contending with a new administration coming in. We're contending with what I don't really consider to be news. Okay, some hired, the monarchy, the passing of, Queen Elizabeth's husband. I'm gonna just say that. But but again, all of that to me is just to deflect and move away. Where are they? Where are we with the Black Lives Matter movement?
So then here's the other piece to what you said. You said that we are dealing with a pandemic, but the pandemic was fresh. Whenever we were dealing with the Black Lives Matter movement, that was very fresh when the George Floyd incident happened. And people were out there. They were out there. They were doing what they were supposed to do. They were rioting, and not necessarily just rioting, but we had stood up on a whole nother level. We were standing up, and people were all over the world. They had came together, and they were really, really fighting for this "I can't breathe." That was the thing. They were talking about "I can't breathe," and so we still cannot breathe. Their knees are still on our necks. Not even just their knees, but their hands are around our neck. They don't want us to talk. And so the thing about us is that we've allowed them to silence our movement. And you know how they're silencing us? And I hate that I'm going to have to say this, but I'm going to say it with these stimulus checks. They are silencing us with stimulus checks. They are silencing us with payments and these the food stamps and everything else. They are
absolutely right.
And that's a way to buy our silence, because if they think that if they give us a little money, then we'll shut up and we'll be okay.
Well, I didn't get no money, so I'm not going to shut up, and I'm not okay about it, because for two reasons. Again, the deflecting is not just with the stimulus checks, I do agree, but also with the actual case going on. It's just like people are tuning in, and right now it kind of reminds me of when OJ was in trial. The whole world was in suspense. It's almost like we are at a standstill right now, waiting to see the outcome, even though we're hoping it's hoping for an outcome that we know is right here in your face, across the nation, across the world. And it's like we're clinched. So in the meantime, yes, everybody is deflecting with throw some money at it. Okay, well, what about them? What about those the honky Kong, excuse me for saying that, but that's what they call them on the news too. Okay, going through the nation's capital. What about that? Now we have, God rest his soul, an officer who is laying in repose right now at the US Capitol because of the violence that continues to happen. They're using a lot of distractions right now, but nonetheless, Black lives still matter.
They do.
Where are they? Where are you?
But you know
sitting
what?
at home in suspense? What?
This is the thing. This is the thing that I don't understand. We say that Black Lives Matter, and when we started saying that, they started saying, well, all lives matter. And so then all lives do matter. And then it went from all lives matter to trans lives matter, from trans lives matter to brown lives matter, to brown lives matter to white lives. White people came back and they were just like, white lives matter. So all lives matter.
Now the attack on Asians.
Right.
It's a lot.
Right. But the thing about what we're fighting for is equality. The Black people have never received the equality that we so deserve, that we should have been given in the very beginning. Yesterday I preached a sermon talking about the man at Bethesda. The man at the Bethesda, that he was waiting at the pool to get in the pool. And so the story goes on to say that at this pool, there was an angel that would come down and stir the water. And the people would try to get in to get healed. And the first person that got in the pool were the person that got healed. But we as people don't look at the text to really figure out what was going on there. The place that Bethesda was really a place of oppressed people. They were paralyzed, they were lame, they were blind. It's the same thing in our neighborhoods. The Bible is speaking about an oppressed neighborhood, which is the Black people. It's the people that have been oppressed for years. And this man sat there for 38 years. 38 years trying to get in a pool, trying to get into a pool. And all he needed really was an encounter. He had an encounter with Jesus. Jesus came along and said, pick up your mat and walk.
That's it.
He'd been laying there this whole time. So it's time for us to pick up our stuff and start walking. We don't have to wait 38 years for justice to be given to us. It's time for us to fight for our own justice.
Exactly.
It's time for us to stand up.
And see, but when we do that, Montee, think about it. Think about it. When we stand up, they're ready to beat us back down.
They are. So it's funny you mentioned this. So I had a conversation with my son, and he's on here. I'm going to go ahead and bring Josiah in the room, and we're going to get to the other stuff that we want to talk about. So Josiah and I always have these conversations. What's up, son?
Hey, darling.
Hey, how you doing today?
We're good, son. So listen, I came home and I was telling Josiah what the show was going to be about. And so I said to Josiah, I said, so son, how do you feel, about all this stuff that's happening? And go ahead and say what you said, Josiah.
I honestly just went out and just said that it could be prevented in many ways, but as a Black kid in America, I understand that many people are scared, and I mean, they're scared for their lives, and they go straight to rioting and like protesting and stealing things from stores because they had to board up stores again because of that fear. So I told my dad today that when it comes to police brutality, Black people in particular always want to talk back. Yes, we all have a voice. Yes, we should speak out, but then and there is not the right time because you already know there's many people getting killed, murdered, and slaughtered from these stops and these talks from police officers. And what they don't understand is the more they do this, is the more it's going to keep happening. That's why I told my dad there's Black Lives Matter, there's Speak Out. We have all of those to they're there to protect us. They're there to represent us. And I know my dad's like, well, they're not doing what they're supposed to do, and they're not there. But we are Black Lives Matter. We are Speak Out. We are the people that are supposed to engage this, but not in these type of ways. These ways of protesting and violence, and it's just not helping. Like, we're not getting anywhere. And that's what I want people to understand. Go ahead, Dad.
Go ahead, Jermaine. Go ahead, Mr.
And thank you for that, Josiah. That is a very poignant piece. What you just said about they are there to represent us, to speak in a way or speak in a volume that, unfortunately, yes, a lot of us speak from a reactionary point, as that was brought out. We are tired of being attacked. You're a kid coming up in a Black young male coming up, and you're confronted by police, and all you know and all you see, whether it be on media or from firsthand accounts with friends and everyone, is that they don't respect us when they speak to us. But the problem is exactly in line. That doesn't give us the right to lay down a level of respect because unfortunately and fortunately, law enforcement is there to help. Not everyone is a bad, quote unquote, law enforcement officer or what have you. But because the portrayal to me in the media and what we see out here in every aspect is always the aggression that is shown towards us. So when you have young Black males, I have a son. And if he goes out here, I have to tell him what to say and what not to say and how to conduct himself. And I'm pretty sure that little Timmy is not having that same conversation with his parents. It's don't speed and come home at night and don't drink and drive. Okay. Ours is don't leave the house. Don't forget your keys. If you see the police, stand there. It's a whole different conversation. And we need to, yes, teach our young ones, our children, how to address the police. It really doesn't matter, because with some, if there's a bad law enforcement officer, or they're going to do what they want to do. I actually seen this movie, and I'm just going to reference this real quick. I was looking at Netflix, and there's oh my goodness, I'll come back to it, but there is something regarding the Black Lives Matter movement, and it's called can't think of it right now, but I will. But I watched it, and it's a Groundhog's Day movie about when a young Black man is confronted by the same situation, an officer, day by day by day. He keeps waking up to the same day.
Oh, wow.
And all he's trying to do is get home to feed his dog. And you just have to, right. And it puts you in a frame of mind to think about, what would you tell your son, Montee, about how to go out here and address law enforcement if he's ever confronted in a situation where there's some aggression involved from law enforcement?
So a year ago, it was almost a year ago, we flew back to Pampa, where I'm from. And I rented a car, and it just happened to be, what's up, Catrice? It just happened to be a brand new Chrysler 300. It was white. I will never forget this. And we rented this vehicle, and we were there for about 3 days. We went back and forth. We went from Lubbock to Pampa in this vehicle. And so I had my boys in the car. I have a 21-year-old, and we have a 15-year-old. Josiah's 15. And so leaving my mother's house, we had just got on the highway, and this police officer was behind us. I left the city limits, and he pulled us over. And so the very first thing he did, he got out the vehicle, and my boys, our boys, because Jacoby hates when I say mine, but our boys put their hands up. It was just automatic. And it's so sad when I go back and I look at the video that Josiah was in the back seat, and he had his hands on the seat because he was afraid. And he was just like, and I was like, Josiah, what are you doing? He was just like, I'm not moving my hands. I'm not moving my hands. And my oldest was in the front seat, and he was just like standing there, and he had his hands open with his palms open. And here it is. I'm sitting there, and I'm talking to the police. And so I give the police, he asked me for my ID and the insurance card on their car. So I hand it to him, and he says, do you know why I pulled you over? No, I don't know why. He says, because your tags and registration is out. How is this out? And this is a rental vehicle. I'm not understanding. This is not even my vehicle. And he was just like, well, stay right here. And so it was the sheriff. He was a sheriff. And so we're sitting there and we're waiting, so I immediately went live. And my thing was going live was because I wanted people to witness what could have happened to us, because I didn't know how this little young white guy that pulled us over was going to actually treat 3 Black men. Because at the end of the day, Josiah's 15, he was 14 at the time, but he was still considered, I don't know why they do this to our children, but they consider them adults way before their time.
Hello. Exactly.
They consider them adults way before their time. And so we're sitting there and we're waiting. And so he finally comes back. And the first thing he says, he asked me my name in the beginning. But when he looked at my license, he said, Mr. Ford. Mr. Ford. He addressed me by Mr. Ford. But when he came back on the passenger side, he said, thank you, Lamont. Thank you, Lamont. I'm sorry. There was a misunderstanding. It's okay. You're free to go. So my thing was, how in the world do you know that I go by Lamont? I haven't lived in Pampa since I was 18, 19. A lot of people know me in Pampa, but I don't know you. And he said, thank you, Lamont. And so when I got home, one of my friends, he had been watching it, and he's really, really high up in Pampa with the police department and the court system and everything. He called me and he says, "Hey, Lamont, the police department would like to speak to you about what happened." And I was like, "Hey, no problem." And so we had a conversation. They apologized. The police department apologized to me because they said that I shouldn't have never been stopped. However, I've yet to receive a phone call from the sheriff's department. I've called them several times. I've left several messages with them, and yet and still the sheriff's department of Pampa, Texas have yet to return a phone call. That's something that happened almost a year ago about something that I was stopped for that I shouldn't have never been stopped for.
That's called an admission of guilt if I tell you I apologize.
Right.
That means I'm blatantly wrong and I knew it. That means I apologize for frightening your children. Okay,
Right.
but you should be used to it. However, I'm not going to go on any type of documentation or video to let you know that we humbly really do not apologize, but we're just saying it for the sake of not saying it at this point. You
Right.
get what I'm saying? It's just like
I do.
let's get the department to apologize for us. You can't blanket everything with a blanket apology, and that's the other issue that I have, and I am really sorry that happened to you all because it reminds me of several incidents, even being a female. Okay, a female driving in a classic '76 Cougar rag top, my daddy's, going to the store with my two brothers in the car with me as passengers with a hoodie on. Okay, and this is before Black Lives Matter. This is before 9/11. This is before all of this. So all of what we go through has even predated. We are tired. We have been fighting. And it wasn't until I actually pulled my hoodie off and I said it immediately to my brother. My god brother said, "Why are they pulling us over?" I said, "Oh, they're going to tell us because there's no reason why they need to pull us over. However, let's just put our hands on the dashboard. I'm going to turn my hazard lights on." I go through a whole cycle because we have law enforcement in our family. So I put my hands on the steering wheel. I don't reach for anything until they come to that window, but it's a conditioning. Josiah and
Montee.
yeah, Montee, raise their hands, show their palms, because our children, unfortunately, are conditioned to know how to respond. So this is because they had intelligent upbringing. What about the kids who are out here in the streets? We just had a shooting over here on Good Hope Road. A little boy on a bicycle, one of those ride along rental bicycles or whatever, the ride share bicycles, with a shotgun, just shooting, randomly shooting. You see, and that's so now you've pegged all of our young Black boys and girls as this media image. So every time they approach us, they don't see, "Josiah, you're intelligent." They don't see you had a father who brought you up to be respectable and with the foundation. They say it too. "Oh, yeah, I'm a Christian." "Yeah, you okay?" Again, I'm a cussing Christian, but you don't see me out here shooting everybody just because I can with a badge and a gun. So it comes down to, how do we teach our children to refrain from those reactionary responses? Just being a human being, we can't even, we're subject to not even being human at this point. You see, it's everything is, we clench automatically. Like, knowing we did nothing wrong. But it's just that preconceived notion. This can go one way or another.
It
And
really,
no
really
one should have to walk through life feeling that way, but yet we have. Yet we have walked through life and we continue. So now everybody's combative. If
very.
we voice our opinion, we're combative. We're aggressive. We're the aggressor.
We're passionate.
Yeah, we're
We're
passionate.
passionate.
With
I hate
conviction.
that word.
Okay, yeah.
I hate
I'm
for
like,
a white person to call me passionate,
yeah,
because what they're really, really saying is that I'm aggressive.
you're aggressive.
That's
You're
what they're
a Black
saying.
man and you're aggressive. It's almost to say, "Oh, she's so articulate." No, I just speak well. I tried my very, very best to at least put my best grammar forward. However, you don't expect that from me because you think of me as an animal first.
I want to ask Josiah a question. And so, son, I want to know from you, as being 15, learning how to drive and things of that nature, what do you feel as being a young black man in America now? What do you feel? And the thing about you is you're light bright, son. You're biracial, but at the end of the day, they associate you with being black. And we've always taught him that he is a black man. So, son, what do you feel about being young and black in America at this time?
Honestly, it's really scary right now. I mean, you don't know what will happen. Any day I can just go outside walking the dogs and a cop can come up to me and you don't know what will happen. I mean, it's really scary to know there are so many things that happen to just a teenage boy walking his dogs in a good neighborhood. I mean, you just never know. And I mean, I know so many kids who are really scared of the police. So they always have that notion just to say, "Oh, I hate the police. Don't talk to the police. Don't mess with them." All this, and I'm just like, I understand that we are all scared, but do we understand what they're going through their eyes? We know that they perceive us as the enemy, as if we're just animals, like Mr. Jermaine said, and it's really dumb to me, honestly. It's dumb because police just feel like if they have a badge and a gun, they have the authority. And if we're just normal people, normal black people walking down the road, they have something against us. Like we have drugs or we have a gun. Like I posted this not too long ago. It was like where it was a officer showing like a gun as a taser, and then as a black person a sandwich as a gun, or a Skittles bag as a gun. And it's just really frightening to know that they if they see these as guns, I don't know what else they see as a weapon on me. I mean, like, it could be a leash while I'm walking the dogs. It could literally be anything at all. And it's scary to know this. And it's just, the world is a mess right now. I mean, we need to really fix this. And I know as a kid, I've always wanted to be a cop. I've always wanted to be a cop. I still want to be a cop. And the only reason I really want to be a cop now is because of these situations going on. All of these killings, these shootings, like George Floyd, and how they use too much force. I want to be an officer to change these things. I want to be able to work up in the ranks and actually make a difference instead of people just talking about it. Because people do more talking than action. See, people think that talking is going to change something. You can talk, but it'll just go from one ear and out the other. It's not going to do anything. We need to do action and talking. We need to multitask. So that's just how I feel.
Well,
And
thank
that's, thank you, Josiah. That, I mean, that is interesting because Josiah will say this: it's not just kids who are afraid.
you. Mhm.
I'm afraid too, and as a woman, it the climate is a lot different. I never thought I'd have to be this afraid, but I also knew that there's a possibility that my situation, any situation with law enforcement being addressed by them, and I've had a gun put to my face because of the car that I drive. Same thing.
Mhm.
It just, I'm not allowed to live in a nice home. I'm not
Mhm.
allowed to have nice things. I'm not allowed to be gainfully employed. I'm not allowed to reach a pinnacle of success in my own lifestyle and life without having to defend it.
Mhm.
Why do I have to defend being black in America, being a black woman, being, why should I have to defend anything that I do when I live next to law enforcement? That's the best part, but you're absolutely right. What are we doing more than talking? One of the things that I strive to do is get out in the community and talk to or interject myself in situations where I have a voice with the youth and with law enforcement simultaneously. Because we have good officers and
Mhm.
those who aren't. So when I see a situation, or at least an opportunity, where they may come out and watch the kids play basketball during the summer at the time, prior to uh,
COVID.
coronavirus, yeah, and COVID. So those are opportunities where we can go and ask questions. They're there policing the neighborhood. They're watching those are the opportunities that I like to take personally. And I do, because I'm a skater. I've skated all over the US. I've been in entertainment for a long time as well, have friends in it as well. So I try to use what little itty bitty platform that I have when I go out and I go and entertain. If there is a police officer present and if there are youth present, I go, come on, guys, let's go over here and let's go have a talk with him. Let's ask these questions as to how can we better police ourselves in our community. So when we are faced with these situations that you are fearful of, it provides the kids an opportunity to, exactly what you said, hear it from the law enforcement's perspective, because they're afraid now too. Everything that they're doing is now reactionary as well. It's always been that way, but nonetheless, it was kind of like during the civil rights movement, the preconceived notion, black is not good, we're going to beat the out of these folks for walking on Selma and marching and protesting. But now it's to the point where they see the community is speaking, and we're so fed up, but it has to start somewhere. We're so fed up now that we're now acting out, but the children are acting out. And that's what frightens me, because I am afraid for my nieces and nephews. I am afraid for anyone. I'm afraid for you as well. What happens? Why do we have to justify being Black human beings, people of color, being of biracial descent, being of, gender equality? Why do we always have to defend this skin? No other race has to do that.
No other race has to defend it like we defend it. And the sad part about that is a lot of it comes from envy. It comes from envy. It comes from jealousy. It comes from supremacy. We've always been taught that white is right.
The
And,
white is right.
even in the church, we put on Holy Sunday, we put on white as a representation of being pure and being, clean and things of that nature. Even a bride that's getting ready to be married, she puts on white to show that she's pure. God forbid for a woman to get married in a black dress. What would we say about her as a society? So we have conditioned our minds to believe that white is right. White is a beautiful color, but there's something about black. Black will slim you. Black looks good.
You don't
Black
know, I'm like this. I wear as much black as possible. Yeah.
It's a lot of different things that we have to look at. And the sad part about it is I'm afraid every day. I'm afraid every day. Every time I start up my vehicle and I drive out of here, I'm afraid, because I never know what will happen. But then it's just not that I'm afraid of what will happen. I never know what mindset I will be in on that day. Will I be tired that day when I get pulled over and say the wrong thing, and not coming from a bad place, but will I challenge them in a way to where they feel like that I've challenged them on a whole nother level? They don't like
their intelligence.
Right. And so there's so many pieces that we have to be really, really careful of. There's so many things that happen in our lives, and we just got to be careful. We do. Josiah, thank you, son, for being on. I know you have a game that you want to play. We love you, son.
Thank you so much. Yes.
Good night.
Good night. But you're absolutely right. And something that you said, what mood are you going to be in?
Right.
Because I'll be honest with you. I'm in a very bad mood the minute I see lights come on behind me. I'm like, wait a minute. Okay, first of all, daggone well, you done followed me for about 5 miles because I watched you.
Right.
You see, I watched you. I set this is real talk. I set my car on the beltway. If I see a trooper or a cruiser behind me, to cruise control the exacted posted speed limit.
Mm.
You can't tell me I was speeding because I got my car set on cruise control to 55. Now, unless you're going to pull me over for going too slow, you do that. And I'm going to be in the far right-hand lane when you do. Because this is what I said, the conditioning of this, it is sad that you as a Black male cannot go out here without thinking, you know what? There's a strong possibility today that I may get pulled over and I may not come back home.
Right.
Unfortunately.
You want me to be honest with you? I don't even wear black hoodies.
You sound like me.
I don't wear black hoodies. I will wear a hoodie every once in a while, but I'm never going to have the hood on my head because with the Trayvon Martin thing that happened, I will never forget that. And so it has caused me never to want to wear a hoodie. And in fact, I have a friend, one of my closest friends, he wears a lot of hoodies, and every time I see him with a hoodie on and we go somewhere, I'm like, pull that off.
Yep.
Pull that off.
Yep.
And
And it's a shame you can't even be comfortable. I might need a hoodie because it's cold outside.
Right.
I gotta walk around stark naked, right? Well, sitting up here talking about something, I'm fine.
Right. And I'm not gonna put a big bulky wallet in my coat or nothing. I mean, I will carry my wallet in my hand.
Conditioning that I am hearing you express right now, even as a woman, I do not carry big pocketbooks. I do not reach into my big bags. I got laptops and computers and things like that. I have had the police say, open up your bag. I'm like, here, I'm gonna give it to you. You open it. He said, well, we can't. Oh, no, you asking me, you open it. Because you're gonna check it in. I shouldn't even have to. Here's the thing. I'm not carrying and concealing. Okay. So I need to know why you need to illegally search and seize my property in my bag. We're going to go there. See, and that's the funkiness that I come with. And I don't have a problem saying it. And I've had the white police officer, you know who you are, to sit up there. Name starts with a P. You pulled me over on Wheeler Road in my Camaro. Do you remember, Officer Panchetta? Okay, allegedly. And you stuck a gun in my face for being a Black woman driving a sports car and on my street at that time for avoiding a traffic accident. Somebody slammed on their brakes in front of me, failure to yield or failure to properly signal 100 feet from your turn. I'll recite the entire day. Yes, what code do you need me to give you? You see? So therefore, I immediately did what? Looked over my right shoulder, your left on this, my right shoulder, proceeded to go around so I wouldn't slam into. I mean, I have good reflexes. Okay, thank you, Melody. And that's what I'm saying. I am going to ask at this point. Now I don't feel comfortable because you have immediately avoided the accident but came after me. Why? Why? Because guns drawn, woman gardening her, watering her lawn, says, ma'am, are you okay? Now, mind you, I have my hands out the window. I literally have my hands holding on to my door so he can see I am fully immersed in giving you my undivided attention with my phone on record. Set ready for me to hit 911 if I have to. Siri, call the police. So and it's no joke. And he's like, shut up and stop talking. I said, no, sir, God-given right. Why did you pull me over? See, so that's why I said, what mood? And that led up to somebody walking a beat, but yet he still has a job. He could have ended my life for talking to, and I asked the woman, I said, could you call for police? I said, call for backup for me, because I'm going to call right here, but I'm too afraid to move my hands because this one here who has his weapons drawn for absolutely no reasons, where's your female backup? Because you can't touch me. You can't do anything because you have yet to tell me why you pulled me over. And when he told me he was so wrong, I said, sir, how about this? How about I show you my badge and show you how much jurisdiction I have? Okay. Let me show you my work badge to show you just how much I know the law. Because y'all ran all kinds of background crap on me just so I could have a job. Now you're going to run my tags? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead and run them. Go sit back there for 10 minutes and just to annoy me. I'll wait. But this is frightening for me So now as a male getting pulled over in that same scenario, and I've been in this same scenario prior to that again with my brother, and I had to pull my hoodie off so all my hair could drop down so they could see, number one, it's a female. Then you told me I needed to have tag lights. Sir, this is a 76 Classic Cougar. There were no such thing as tag lights in this particular model of car. Are we clear? Now, he said, do you know why I pulled you over? No. And this is what I usually say. No, but I'm pretty sure you're going to tell me. See, I'm not going to give you the opportunity to challenge me. I'm going to give you the opportunity to say something intelligent, because the next word coming out of your mouth, I don't care. And they stick together in the law enforcement
They do.
community.
They do.
So that's the other thing. Their ride along buddy is probably just as racist as they are.
You know, so right now, you know, the jury is in deliberation with the George Floyd case right now. So let's play the video. Let's go back to a year ago and let's look at what happened a year ago.
Please, please, I can't breathe. Please, man. Please, somebody help me. Mama.
Get up and get in the car right.
I can't.
You just gave y'all the opportunity to get in, bro. I told you can't win.
My knee.
I can't breathe. Mama. Mama. I can't breathe. Mama. You know, the sad thing, it's sad that the man lost his life. It's so sad that the man lost his life. And the spectators that had to stand around and watch this man lose his life. It's so sad that we have situations like this that are still going on. But this is the thing. These people are still in deliberation to find this man guilty. The video is there.
But we're guilty until proven innocent, right?
But we're not. We're guilty until proven innocent.
No, that's what I'm saying. We as Black people are guilty
right
until proven innocent.
We are.
Because if we were innocent until proven guilty, why do they lock us up?
Right.
I'm innocent. How do you lock up an innocent person? I haven't been proven guilty. But the minute a white man goes on trial, and don't forget, they're giving him a lesser charge of third degree.
They are
murder in Wisconsin versus first or second, knowing damn well he knew what he was doing.
He knew what he was doing.
He had to sit there, and his family has to sit there, and those spectators had to sit there and watch while yelling at the officer. All of that's on video. You're killing him. He can't breathe. And to call your mother,
to call out for your mama,
your mother,
you know,
that broke my heart.
It is a situation that there really is no deliberation for. And my thing is this: the attorney that is defending him should have simply told him, just plead out, man. Plead out. You're not going to win this. But because there's some part of them that think that they're going to win this case, they took it to trial and they're fighting it.
And that's what I mean about the world is clenched right now. Once again, we are clenched in what the possible, like we're certain of what we're seeing, but we're so unsure of this systematic racism that goes on in the justice or injustice system in our nation that we really don't know which way this thing is going to go. But my thing is, even if, why does he get a lesser charge? Why does he get a lesser charge?
Because he killed a Black man.
That's right. Who wasn't found on drugs or anything, as they were trying to state. Nothing was in his system.
You know, and then they came back and they researched him so far to find out that he did porn one day. You remember when he did that? It was going back so far. They had to go back way far to find. He did a porno.
Yeah, and that's to diminish his character. That's to demean him and do. We can't. Again, we have to just defend being human half of the time. We have to defend an entire. Now, mind you, you have a whole culture and race of people who are riding on the outcome and I ain't even talking about black people, on the outcome of this case, because what this does is set a precedence for every type of racial bias case that comes up from here on out. You know, it goes back to the OJ trial. Now we got to go back to work now that the pandemic is over and sit in people's faces who really don't like us. Trump exposed a lot of people. The U.S. Capitol exposed what happened at the nation's capital, homegrown terrorism. And they killed one of their own, allegedly. You know, and maybe people didn't like. I set up a post a long time ago. I didn't like the fact that people said she was deserving, even though she was a white woman, there for all the wrong reasons. You watch who you follow and you watch who you defend, because it could ultimately end your life. I get that. And what she was there for was to riot on the White House, or not White House, but U.S. Capitol, and storm the U.S. Capitol right along with them. And unfortunately, she was killed by her own. But nothing in the Black community, heart of hearts. See, we're forgiving. The Black community is forgiving. And that's what people don't understand. When we had marches, the marches were nonviolent, and we maintained and upheld a level of being forgiving and extending forgiveness. Now, hell no. These little folks that are coming up, they like to hell with that. This the new breed. This is a reboot of this is a remix. Of everything that you did to our ancestors. Now we coming after you. Now we doing this. Now we're doing that. And unfortunately, that is sending the wrong message.
It is.
But it's showing that we're fed up, though.
So this whole Black Lives movement that has become quiet right now, that is really not saying a lot. According to Breonna Taylor's family and George Floyd's family, you know, they're asking, where are y'all at now? Last year we couldn't stop y'all from calling us and doing all this and that, but now you're not really saying anything.
They don't want to get shot.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And so now with this jury in deliberation, do you know that there are states that are already boarding up and getting ready for riots because they feel like that it's going to go the wrong way? And so that's sad. That's sad.
The message it's sending, right? That Black people don't know how to react to a bad situation. It's been bad. It's been a bad situation. You're boarding up, but you've been beating us with boards our entire existence.
For a long time.
Long time. So here it is. The message that it's sending to me is twofold. That number one, you all are already expecting something negative to happen, a negative outcome or a positive outcome on one side in our favor. But is it? People have died, and it's never in our favor, but at least justice can be served or dealt, you know, maybe not. To me, it's not, well,
it's not really justice.
Yeah, it's not really justice, exactly. And then the other part of that is, oh wow, we'll just have to take what comes with it. It is what it is. Expect something. Expect these wonderful Black people to once again tear up their own community, tear up their own establishment. This is what we're talking about right here. This is what we mean. They're looting. They're gonna do this. No, y'all kids broke into shit too. Excuse my French, but yeah, y'all kids tore up stuff too. And we're not, and they still do. Y'all making bombs in the basement.
It was a lot of white people that were in neighborhoods tearing up stuff to portray themselves as Black people.
That's it, girl. Wait till they drop the pocketbook. We'll just get it off the ground. Let the Black people go in there first and wait till they come out. We're gonna be right here with the TV and the pickup truck. It's the same thing, but they don't show that. They're only gonna show us, just like what they just showed in the media recently. You know, again, with George Floyd, with Black Lives Matter, where the thing is, we have now put in play, in motion, man in motion. Black Lives Matter movement is in motion. And what is it doing at this point when every time we turn around, they you know, let's talk about the young man in Chicago.
Okay, so can we get the producer to play that? Let's talk about Minneapolis, Minnesota, and the Chicago. Those videos are together.
his squad car and running after Adam Toledo in an alley at 2:30 a.m. on March 29th in Little Village, a neighborhood on the city's west side. The body cam video from the officer then showed him yelling "Stop" to Toledo before he caught up to him and ordered him to show his hands. Toledo appeared to raise his hands right before the officer fired one shot and then immediately ran to the boy as he fell to the ground.
Shots fired, get an ambulance up here now. Look at me, look at me. You all right?
The Chicago Police Department said immediately following the incident that Toledo had a gun in his hand. It is unclear in the video whether he did at the time of the shooting.
So, the first video, I don't know why. The first video, it says that, we have the Dante Wright in Minneapolis, Minnesota, where a white woman shot him. And you can hear this white woman saying, "I'll tase you, I'll tase you." But in all actuality, girl, you shouldn't.
You don't know the difference? Miss Kimberly Ann Potter, allegedly, yes, you needed to lose your job. You just took somebody's life and you did it. To me, it was very slick the way she tried to portray it.
Mm-hmm.
A taser and a gun do not look alike.
They don't.
They don't look alike. Okay.
And like you brought up a point earlier, you said that the taser goes on the less dominant side and the gun goes on the dominant side.
Exactly.
And so you pulled out what you knew was normal to you to pull out on a black man. That's normal for you to pull that out. That's what's comfortable for you.
And then tried to cover it up by saying taser, taser, taser. Yeah. She actually said it 3 times. Mm-hmm. But my thing is, you had other officers that were right there. And if you listen really closely, you'll hear them say, "That's a gun."
That's a gun.
But yeah, it's your gun.
They shot him.
Totally you shot him. That's what they said. You shot him.
Mm-hmm. They waved differently.
You guys were standing right there too. So immediately, that's what I'm saying. There's just so many. We're all fallible. I will say that, okay? I'm not a police officer. However, in the heat of the moment, we don't know how the human, it's muscle memory. The human body responds to muscle memory, just like you just brought out. She did what was normal to her.
What was normal for her. But then this is the thing. A taser's yellow, the gun is.
There you go, black. Okay, it has a tag on it. It has a different tip on it. It may look like a gun in one aspect, but it has a totally different feel. Don't ask me how I know these things. I'm just saying, okay? Depending on the mood and the day, you have to think about no sudden movements either. See, it's not just a matter of I can't wear a hood. As a black man, I wouldn't be able to wear a hoodie. I wouldn't be able to put my wallet something that looks like it's protruding from my chest. I can't reach into my blazer jacket pocket. You know, I can't make any sudden movement.
You bet not.
What? And that's what I mean. You make sudden movements and all of a sudden it's a potato chip bag. It's a hair roll. My curling irons are black. My flat irons. Okay. I could be traveling going, hold on, officer, let me get in my bag and pull out my ID. And all of a sudden I pull out the wrong thing. I'm good as dead.
You are.
So you see, that's what I mean. No sudden movement. So here we are again with the natural knee-jerk reaction versus her knee-jerk reaction. It's all muscle memory. So you've been on the force and you don't know your gun, where you keep your gun yet?
She's been on the force for 20-something years. I can't remember if it was 23 or 25 years, but she's been on she's been in that position. She's been a police officer for that long. So you don't know what the difference is. You're experienced. But you're also experienced, ma'am, of targeting black people. Let's call a spade a spade.
That's it.
Linda Carter said that she's been in the service. She's been doing this for 26 years. So here it is. You mean to tell me after 26 years, you ain't learned what your dominant and your non-dominant side is?
Oh, you put your side piece on and your sidearm on every single day. Every single day. That uniform goes on the same exact way. And you automatically knew to grab your gun versus your taser. and
But
other
then,
people around you.
but see,
Totally.
she didn't even get fired. She resigned immediately from her position because she knew what was to come, and it's still to come for her.
Yeah.
It's still to come, and what you did was you backed down quietly, probably because you knew that if you back down now, then you can still get your pension. If I go ahead and retire, or if I resign my position, I can go ahead and set myself up to go ahead and get my money and stuff, rather than y'all fire me.
Not if you're
It was a move.
convicted. If you're convicted, and that's the other thing too. It's like a dishonorable discharge. It's the same thing, but the takeaway that I get, is you still took a life that we cannot get back, guilty or not. You have sat here, and I almost feel like they're keeping score. We got another one down.
Mhm,
Thanks, Kimberly.
mhm.
Thanks, Kimmy. We got another one. And then, 24/7 security guard around her house. Yep, boom, she better. But guess what? When Lil Ray Ray and them, they could care less about security, because that's what it's coming down to. And that's the sad part about it. That's the negative, and the sad outcome is that you have, people who vigilante justice, let's, Jonathan Pentland, Sergeant Jonathan Pentland. Let's go ahead and go with that. You want to go ahead and start, strong arming people and things like that. What about the guy here in what is it, Silver Spring or Tacoma, where he was in the apartment complex? The officer who sat there and forced pulled the gun out and shot the two young men up here in I want to say in Rockville. I may have my facts wrong right now, but right here in Maryland. Okay. And you're policing your community in your building. Why? Nobody asked you to do that. You're not even on the clock. Thank you, Linda. And that's what I mean. So here it is again. We have people in the community, law enforcement in the community, that is supposed to serve and protect. Okay. And respect. Don't forget that part. Serve, respect, and protect. And you have no respect.
In this building that I live in, there's several police officers that live in this building. One of them is a really close friend of mine. But when we first moved into this building, I did notice that there were not as many white people in this building as there are now. And so it has become like we're like half and half now. And so it's kind of like, ooh, and so when I get on the elevator now, when there's white people on the elevator, and listen, I have a lot of white friends, and I ain't got nothing against white people.
Me either.
So, well, some of them. So the ones that don't like black people, I have something against.
Yeah, of course.
Now, I don't really have anything against you. I have questions for you.
I have a whole white sister. So I know. Yes. Okay.
So when we get on the elevator now, when I'm on the elevator, I have noticed that the white people that are on there, some are friendly and some are not. And so it's kind of like one of these things where, okay, I live in one of these apartments too. I can afford to live here. I'm here for a reason. I live here because I can afford to live here.
And you shouldn't even have to defend why you live there and your income and how much you're there. Okay.
So there's this one white lady. She has two dogs. And I see her in the morning, every morning, like whenever I'm walking the dogs or when I'm going downstairs to the gym or whatever, I see her. And she always speaks. She always speaks. She's very, very nice. So this one particular day, Josiah and I were both getting on the elevator, but there were too many people getting on the elevator. And so I told Josiah, son, you go ahead and I'll get on the elevator after you. So when I got on the next elevator, there's three. So I waited on the next one. And so when Josiah got upstairs and I got upstairs and I said, hey, son, he was like, Dad, that white lady was talking to me. And I said, oh, what's she saying? And he was just like, she was just telling me how mannerable I was. And she asked me if you were really my dad. And she wanted to know, how
you
old.
You want to come work for me? That's the only part you left out.
How old you were and all this. And I said, now why this woman asked you all these questions? And she never asked me this. She always speak to me.
Look, that's it.
You ain't never asked me how old I was or none of these questions, but you asked my child?
Because
and so
pull it out of the child, so she thought.
So
You
she
know,
thought, and so Josiah was just like, so I told her, yeah, that's my daddy, and he said, and she said, well, how old is your dad? He's 43. Because I think it was 43 or 44 at the time, 44. And he was like, he's 44. And
not a
so,
day over 25.
right. I mean, so my thing is, why did you feel comfortable enough to question my child from the first floor to the sixth floor?
Now you know you intimidating. You know that. You black. You a black male. You probably towered over this woman, okay? And she was like, maybe I should just not be so, I'm gonna bring it in. But oh, look at him. He looks so inviting. Let me go ahead and ask about your daddy. Now, you want to come work for me? Okay, that's what I mean. How old's your dad? So where's your mom? Oh, believe me, I get it in the Asian community. It's a status thing, so they always say, "Where do you live?" Oh,
Right, right.
everything is oh, you did? Your mother and father here in the United States, he military. Oh, I'm like, baby, my mother's deceased. Okay, let's go there. All right, yeah, yes, yeah. Okay, but that's what it is. He's less. You're approachable. She's probably spoken to you on many occasions. But when she has to delve into your business, it's probably easier to tempt the mind of a child. You get what I'm saying? And that's what she played on.
She didn't think that I know she didn't know that she was going to get what she got back because
Exactly.
it's very advanced.
And that's what I'm saying.
And he knows, and he always talks, and he was like, well, I know how to read people. And we would ask him, how do you know how to read people? He said, because I got 2 gay daddies. I know how to read. I know how to read.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, that's what I'm saying. It's easier for the white community,
Right. Peter said, why don't I knock on her door and ask her why she's giving you? Because I ain't going to jail today.
Yeah.
That would be intimidation. I don't went to this woman's house. That
Black Lives
that would be
Matter.
so much more. That would end up honey, they probably put me out this building. I probably have to move.
Yeah. He came to my door. He was intimidating. He's like, you can
knocked on my door.
That's all you had to do, Could have been asking for a cup of sugar, but it was I didn't even know where he lived. He's been stalking me. It turns into something totally different.
Totally different.
And it's just like the next time you see her, oh, my son said he had such a wonderful discussion about you, right? See, that's what they're hoping, but you don't even feed into that.
So you know what I kept doing? Every time I saw, hey, how you doing? Keep right on moving. Hey, girl, how you doing? Get on the elevator. Hey, how you doing? It's crazy. So in the second clip of that video, we see Carlito, a little 13-year-old boy running from the police. And so I had to do some research, and I asked the producer of the show, Brandon, I asked him, I said, hey, so what really, really went on? Because I was trying to find it. And he was just like, so the police were in the neighborhood because there were 8 shots fired in the neighborhood. So these police officers pull up, see these 2 little boys, and little boys take off running. One went one way, one went the other way. They just happened to get behind Carlito. And so when they stop Carlito, they finally get him to stop. He raises his hands and they shoot. Now, there's other video that is going around that's showing that he never had anything in his hand.
The initial video clip that went out that aired on television showed, and you'll never see that footage again in the media.
You won't.
You won't.
And now it's kind of blurry. They're making it blurry so where you can't see if he had anything or not. But then what they're coming back and saying is that he had a gun. But we clearly just saw the video that he didn't have anything.
But innocence. That's it, on his hands. And
that's all he had. He lifted his hand. But then you heard Josiah say that young people are so scared of the police now. The very first thing that comes in your mind is to run.
To run.
It's like a scary movie.
Guilty. It makes you look guilty. And that's what they're banking on. Guilty people don't run. Hell, okay, innocent people don't stand still either. So let me tell you that. Okay, and unfortunately, the conditioning once again is our children are put in a position where we act out of nature, out of accord with how we should be treated. And then you come to us, and these are children out of the mouth of babes. Children are going to say exactly what they're feeling at that moment, and it's going to fly out of their mouth with no filter. So now they're being aggressive. Now you see this child. Why are you chasing a child? Naturally, here's the thing. That's how people get shot in the back. Why do you shoot people in the back? Clearly, and then say that they were the aggressor. How can you be aggressive running from somebody?
Right.
So why are you chasing me? Because he fit the profile? Yeah, he was black. He was black and running. That's it.
We are living in a scary movie called Being Black.
That's it.
It's a scary movie. And so if you look at the analogy of a scary movie, what happens when the boogeyman shows up? When that Michael Myers or that Jason shows up, the very first thing that they do in a scary movie is what? Run.
Run and fall down when you're white. But we keep running, but we get killed first because we gotta run. So you see, it's even conditions. Girl, I got my 15 minutes. Okay.
But why do they kill us in the scary movies first?
Because we black. Supposed to. That's the script. We paid you. Now we gotta off you real quick. Your character's over. Okay. It's life and art. Okay, a portrayal of life and art. The adaptation is uncanny. The irony of it. We get killed first.
So sad that even in things like we break it down and we look in the movies, we are still oppressed in movies. We are still oppressed in society. I had a conversation with one of my friends, Deja. Deja is a transgendered woman, and so there's a movie that just recently came out about transgender. And I haven't watched the movie yet, but I'm going to watch it. But she was upset because they didn't allow a transgendered person to portray themselves in this movie. They picked a cisgendered woman, which is a heterosexual woman.
I know who I am.
You know who you are?
Yeah, I know who I am.
And so you still have people being oppressed when they say we still accept you, but we don't want to put you out in the mainstream. We don't want people to look at you, so we get somebody else to portray you or to downplay who you really are, and still ostracize and still oppress you and marginalize you, so that way you still stay in your lane. But we still acknowledge you because we want to say that, oh, trans lives matter. So we want to talk about you, but we don't want you to portray yourself.
That's it. And that's why I said it's the same as, handy capable people, as I call them. Okay. Totally capable people are in wheelchairs playing handicap roles. How is this possible? We got plenty of people who can portray these roles, who really live this experience every day. You are doing people a disservice when you don't, put the right person in the correct character. It's almost like you're afraid. Okay, I don't need an Academy Award for somebody playing me. I'll play me. I'll play the best me you can possibly see. So if you are you're portraying a transgender person, how do you even do that? Just how? I'm like, I don't want to be an understudy of somebody. How about you get somebody who lives this every day, their true authentic self every day? That's what's gonna be portrayed. That's what's gonna come out. That's what's gonna be projected. I don't need some understudy coming in and telling me, Jermaine, I'm gonna play a biracial black woman, and I'm like, this what? Okay, honey, you could never be me. Okay, trust. I can't even be me on some days. But that's why I'm saying the media has a twisted and warped way of imitating life.
They are still
exactly
that check. Yes, they are, Peter. They want to keep the money. Where they want the money to go. You're absolutely right, Peter. You're absolutely right.
And the movie that I was speaking of was Two Strangers.
Two Strangers. Okay,
Two Strangers on Netflix, and that's why it will make you. It really makes you think. It gets. For me, it started off, and I'm like, that's a little, but just watch it and watch it all the way through to the end, even through the credits. You are gonna be with. For me, I was just like, wow, I was blown away. That's all I got to say.
Wow.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Jonathan Pentland.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about Jonathan Pentland. Let's watch this video real quick.
Yes.
I didn't hit you. There's a difference between pushing
you were
you.
the aggressor, buddy.
You're aggressive on the neighborhood.
Someone came running at
Walk
the
back.
You better walk away. You walk away. You're talking to my wife right now.
That's your wife?
Walk away.
I didn't do
Walk
anything.
away.
Your wife was speaking.
Check it out. You either walk away or I'm going to carry your ass out of here.
Dude, if you touch
What do you
me,
want to do?
You better not touch me.
Or
I'm
what?
not arguing
What are you going to do?
You up on me.
Let's go. Walk away.
So we're here. We have this situation where this young black man is walking through a neighborhood that he lives in, that he frequents it all the time, that he's right around the corner from his actual house, that he lives in this area. And so we have Mr. Jonathan Pentland, who is a white Jackson sergeant. He's a sergeant in the military, and he has a problem with this little boy walking, this young man. I'm not going to call him a little boy, but this young man walking through this neighborhood. He has a problem. So that was the original issue that he had. He just had a problem with him being in this neighborhood. It wasn't that the black was scoping out anything or trying to steal anything or do anything, talk to his daughter or talk to his wife or anything. He
used everything. He used everything.
Walking while black. Walking while black.
That's it. You don't have to do much else.
And so Mr. Jonathan had a problem. Jonathan got a whole problem with him being in the neighborhood. So he's telling him, you need to leave. And the boy is asking questions. Why do I need to leave? What have I done? You need to walk off. I'm walking off, but why are you still talking to me? Why are you
to my wife? My lily white wife.
To my wife. Well, your wife shouldn't be talking. That's your wife.
Yeah.
That's your wife. If this is a man's conversation, why is she butting in?
That's it. But he just was looking for, you could see he was itching for a reason. And that's why his outcome. Now he walking, okay, down cell block 4.
But then did you see that, he actually put his hands on the little boy, the young man. He put his hands on the young man. And then he restrained the boy. The video is still out there where he actually restrained the guy on the grass, and held him, and so now he's being charged with a misdemeanor.
Third degree assault.
Third degree, which is a misdemeanor in Columbia, South Carolina. Now, the thing about, I never knew anything about South Carolina until I married Jacoby. Jacoby's from Orangeburg, South Carolina, and we always frequent Columbia, South Carolina. It's right there. His mother lives in Columbia. And so we would go back and forth, and I've been there several times, but I never thought that, and you just don't think that things like this will happen, but it happens. And this young man is being bullied and pressured to leave out of a neighborhood that they actually live in.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's crazy. And so then, but the thing about this was what I love the outcome of this, because whenever the black people started seeing this on social media, they showed up at the man's house.
Yes. And they needed
showed up at his house. And he was arrested. They showed at his house. It's a classic white fair being eliminated. They believe that the white race is in danger of being erased because of color mixing. Of course they do. They do. But color race, they've been color mixing for a long time.
They've been pink for a long time, okay? I pink people.
A white man has been sleeping with the black woman for a long time. Long time. Back in slavery days, that's what they were doing. And the white men just wasn't sleeping with the black women, they were sleeping with our black men as well.
Yes, exactly. So
we don't talk about that piece. We don't talk about how the black men were ridiculed and how their manhood was taken away from them because they were being raped by the white man, because the white man was attracted to the black man. We don't talk about that. But then we conditioned our minds to say that white is right. So then we have black men now. Now, I don't have a problem with who dates whoever. You can date whoever you want to date. You can be with whoever you want to be with. I don't have a problem with that, but I want you to listen to me really, really good. We have black men now that are saying that they will never date an angry black woman. Never date a black woman. Because black women Black women speak up. They don't want, so they have a problem with dating Black women. However, they don't look at they're putting their lives in danger every day, every day. Now, I'm not saying there's not some good white women out there, because there are some good white women out there. I have some good white girlfriends. I got some good friends that are white. So I don't want you to think, oh, Lamonda's attacking the white race. No, I'm not. I'm not.
Ignorance. The ignorance.
The ignorance of, dating out of your race. I think that we have to educate our children. I know we have to educate our children.
Send them to my house. 2 weeks. You're going to see a whole different perspective of what goes on in a biracial household, okay?
I mean,
I am not Tiger Woods, okay? I tell people that all the time. My golf swing sucks. But a white guy confronted me at my job, a coworker, and when they found out that I was biracial, and I'm of Asian descent as well, Asian and West Indian, he said, oh, you're like Tiger Woods. I said, no, honey, my golf swing sucks. You see, because at the end of the day, I'm like, what are you so intrigued by that you can't believe that, people actually date outside of their race, and they produce people like me and Josiah and everybody else out here? I mean, come on now. This is a healthy blend of a lot of things, okay? Bitterness, anger, culture, racism, being bullied, being attacked by everything on this planet that's other than me. So I have a whole different perspective, but we'll that's a whole different talk show. But again, it is. But again, my Miranda rights read the same when I'm pulled over.
They do.
And I tell them that all the time. And they don't care that I'm a woman, and they don't care that I can express myself, that I know my rights. All they see is this.
That's all they see.
That's it.
Listen, Miss Gigi, I want to ask you a question. What would you tell these people that are watching us tonight? How would you end the show tonight? What do you have for them to know that they need to do better? That not necessarily to do better, but do more. What can you do? What do you have for them?
The first thing I will say is this, and thank you for letting me address that, because it goes back to what Josiah said. Here's a child, and I want people to be perfectly clear. I have 2 stepchildren, a boy and a girl. I married into 2 children, and I'm afraid for them every single day, and they're young adults. And what I would tell or ask of everybody who, whether you have children of your own, it takes a village, and we really have to interject a voice for our children and not wait for a whole movement or a group to educate them on how to speak to a police officer, how to address any position of authority, whether it be someone you work with, but really just calm themselves. What I see is people so pent up, and we project that onto our children, to our youth, that we have to be a better example. Not saying that we're not, but we have to try to be the best example for our youth, our Black young youth here in America, and children of color, to say, when you are put in this situation, think about the outcome of everything that you've seen on television, whether it be George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, with Dante Wright, with Carlito, with the people who attacked them, Sergeant Jonathan. What would you do in that situation? And that is educate them at home to say, unfortunately, this is the world we live in. Everybody does not get a trophy, okay? So therefore, you and your white counterparts, your white friends, because you should have a very diverse mix of friends. That's the first thing that I would express to my children, that we also have an unhealthy portrayal of white people. All white people are not bad. It's just those ones that we see in the media that have done bad things to Black people. But tell them that a diverse mix of exploring people's cultures, background, talking about it, not being afraid to say to my coworker or your classmates, you know what, I'm Black and this is what I have to go through. Let's communicate. Let's talk about, what do you feel about what's going on in the media? See, it's wonderful when they can come and ask us, but how about we turn the tides and ask them, well, what do you think? You're saying it's wrong, but why is it wrong to you? How were you brought up? We need to express to our children and to our adult friends as well how to have healthy communication, how to have conversation. Exactly. Thank you, Lillian. And that's what it is. Have these communications and these talks. Better communication is what I'm saying. All of that to say, have better communication and healthy communication with our young ones. Whether you're in the community, in the church, look for those opportunities to have that talk with young people, especially those ones that maybe are just kind of hanging out there and just out there, maybe don't have that foundation of adults to talk to them about. Hey, if you're confronted by the police, I've had to step in and say that. I put my life on the line many a times and say, hey, young man, hey, young lady, calm down. Just listen to what he got to. I'm standing right here. I am your witness. God be your witness. I am right here with you. I will not allow them, but I'm going to need you to calm down because I don't want them. Let them get their point out. Just let them get their point out. And I've had to do that. And that's what I have to tell others and my children as well. Let them talk. Let them be aggressive. Let them speak their piece as long as they're not touching you. That's a whole different level. But let them get it out because you're going to hear something. You can't change how that person feels about you. Only thing you can do is change direction and change your course of action. And that's what I'd like to see more of within not just my household, my community, among my peers. Talk to our youth to tell them how to be proactive or how to react or not react. Because that's what Josiah said. We think the police our kids think that the police are not good, that they don't have a good purpose because they've seen so much negative. So, yes, systematic racism, yes.
So I hear you, Peter.
Yes, Peter.
And you next coming on this show because you have so much to say. And I think that people need to hear you. I really, really do. I think that they need to hear you. What I want people to get is that we as a people have a voice. We don't have to always come from a combative place in order for people to hear us. I'm tired of people dying. I'm tired of seeing short coffins. I'm tired of seeing young people beaten. I'm tired of seeing young people afraid. And the thing about it is we have to teach our children that you don't have to run. Don't run because they have associated running with being guilty. I know that we're often guilty until proven innocent, but I would rather have to prove your innocence than to rather bury you. I'm asking that we teach our children not to run, but simply to surrender and wait it out. I know that's harsh. I know that it sounds like we're giving in, but it's not giving in. It's simply trying to stop the killings. We have to figure out a way for us to be able to, and when I say us, I include myself as a Black man. We have to figure out a way that we can reach more people that are on the opposite side, meaning the white people. We have to have conversations. And the way that we're going about it, some of us, and this is the sad part about it, it's the some of us that they're still talking about. They're not talking about the good conversations that we're having. They're not talking about the educated conversations that we're having. They're still talking about the some of us that are yelling and screaming and acting out and shooting back and things. Those are the ones that they're talking about. And I get that we're angry. I get that we're tired. But we have to go about being tired in another way. I I'm at a loss for words because I'm so tired of being tired. I really, really am. So I want to tell you this, Miss Jermaine, Miss Gigi, thank you so much for the knowledge that you've given us on tonight. Thank you for being here. Thank you for standing in the gap for Mimi. Thank you for everything that you've done, but thank you for your knowledge and your experiences. You are an absolutely amazing
Oh,
woman of color,
thank you
and
so
I
much.
appreciate you and I celebrate you and your color. I
Thank you, my
celebrate your
king.
heritage.
Thank you, my king. And that's what you are, a king
I
among
appreciate,
kings. Thank you.
I appreciate you. So I want to end with this. Please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Hey, look us up. Facebook, Montee and Mimi. Instagram, In the Chair with Montee and Mimi. And YouTube, In the Chair with Montee and Mimi. Follow us. And as we have more conversations like this, but you know what? One thing that I want everyone to do tonight is to say a prayer for justice. Say a prayer for your neighborhood. Say a prayer for those police officers that their minds have not been conditioned to deal with people like us. Say a prayer for those. And I know that we've been praying for a long time, but I still believe that prayer changes things. I love you all. Have a good night.